Most people think you need millions to quit your job and live free. But what if I told you 300,000 could change your life forever? Today, I'll show you how David Tepper's mindset proves that financial freedom isn't about the number. It's about strategy. $300,000 isn't just a number. It's a doorway. With the right mindset, discipline, and investment strategy, you can make this sum last a lifetime. David Tepper, one of the world's most disciplined investors, shows us that wealth isn't about how much you make, but how smart you are with what you already have. Tepper knows that the first rule of wealth is simple, don't lose it. This isn't just a cliche, it's the foundation upon which all real financial success is built. Many people chase bigger numbers, thinking that wealth is measured solely by how much money you can accumulate, but Tepper's approach flips that notion on its head. He understands that without preservation, even millions can vanish overnight. 300,000 may seem modest in the eyes of the world, especially when compared to the staggering fortunes of billionaires. But when approached with disciplined foresight and strategic thinking, it can be more than enough to secure financial freedom. The key lies in treating that 300K not as a static amount of money, but as a dynamic tool that can work for you while you remain protected from the risks that erode wealth. Preservation is more than just keeping money in a bank account. It's an active process of safeguarding your capital against threats, both visible and invisible. Market volatility, poor investment decisions, unnecessary spending, and even unforeseen life events can all chip away at your resources. Tepper emphasizes that the moment you lose money unnecessarily, you don't just lose capital, you lose the freedom, leverage, and opportunities that capital provides. That is why he approaches wealth with a defensive mindset first. He ensures that every dollar is accounted for, every risk is measured, and every potential loss is minimized before even thinking about growth. In this way, preservation becomes the first layer of power. Respecting your money is equally crucial. Tepper treats his capital as a resource that commands respect, understanding that how you view and handle your funds determines how far they can take you. The 300K, in the hands of someone reckless or impatient, can disappear quickly, but in the hands of someone disciplined, educated, and strategic, it can generate opportunities that far exceed its nominal value. Protecting your wealth doesn't mean avoiding all risks. It means taking calculated risks with a safety net in place. Tepper invests where the risk-reward ratio is in his favor, ensuring that every move builds a stronger foundation rather than exposing him to unnecessary danger. Deployment is the final piece of the puzzle. Preserved and respected capital must be actively deployed to grow, but always with prudence. Tepper demonstrates that the right investments, timed correctly, can amplify 300K into a life of financial freedom. Strategic allocation, whether into diversified portfolios, income-generating assets, or opportunities overlooked by the majority, ensures that your money isn't stagnant but continuously working for you. By combining respect, protection, and wise deployment, preservation transforms from a defensive measure into an engine of power. In the end, Tepper teaches a vital lesson. Wealth is as much about mindset as it is about numbers. 300K may appear modest at first glance, but when treated with care, strategy, and respect, it becomes a lever capable of creating freedom, opportunity, and lasting security. Preservation doesn't just protect your money. It empowers you to make moves others can't, giving you the confidence and control that true financial independence requires. Financial freedom isn't about showing off, flashy cars, or expensive vacations. Tepper understands this deeply. To most people, wealth is synonymous with extravagance, a way to demonstrate success to the world. But Tepper's philosophy flips that mindset completely. True wealth is measured not by appearances, but by the freedom, security, and options it provides. It's about having the ability to make decisions without being constrained by money. And that starts with living below your means. This is not a temporary sacrifice or a one-time effort. It is a disciplined lifestyle, a mindset that prioritizes long-term gains over short-term gratification. Tepper's approach shows that when you resist the temptation to inflate your lifestyle as your income grows, your capital can truly compound, growing quietly but powerfully behind the scenes. Living below your means requires conscious choices every day. It's about distinguishing between wants and needs and refusing to let societal pressures dictate your spending. Many people fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation, where every raise, bonus, or unexpected windfall is immediately funneled into luxury goods, bigger homes, or unnecessary upgrades. Tepper avoided this trap, understanding that each dollar saved and invested is a soldier working for him. By keeping expenses in check and resisting the urge to live beyond his means, he created a foundation for his wealth to grow exponentially. The more money you preserve instead of spending on fleeting pleasures, the more capital you have to deploy strategically into opportunities that generate income and long-term value. Cutting unnecessary expenses is not about deprivation, it's about focus and efficiency. Tepper scrutinizes every cost, ensuring that his spending aligns with his goals. Every dollar that isn't wasted becomes part of the machine that grows his wealth. This disciplined approach doesn't mean never enjoying life. It means prioritizing the experiences, tools, and investments that truly matter. For example, investing in education, networking, or assets that generate returns is far more valuable than purchasing status symbols that depreciate the moment they leave the store. By making these intentional decisions, Tepper turns frugality into an advantage, transforming restraint into power. Reducing lifestyle inflation is another cornerstone of Tepper's strategy. Instead of allowing his desires to expand alongside his income, he maintained a consistent, measured lifestyle. This not only preserved his wealth, but also insulated him from financial stress. When life inevitably presents challenges, market downturns, unexpected expenses, or economic shifts, he has the flexibility to respond effectively because his spending remains controlled and predictable. In contrast, those who inflate their lifestyles find themselves trapped, needing to work longer, take more risks, or cut back abruptly when circumstances change. By living below his means, Tepper let his capital work for him. The money he didn't spend was strategically deployed into investments that compounded over time. This approach highlights a crucial truth. Financial freedom is not about how much you earn, but how effectively you manage, protect, and grow what you have. Discipline, restraint, and focus on compounding capital quietly, but powerfully transform modest sums into lasting wealth. Tepper's life demonstrates that true financial freedom is built not with flash, but with patient strategy and the relentless pursuit of smart money management. Tepper's edge has always come from one core principle: calculated risk. Unlike reckless gamblers who rely on luck, he approaches every financial decision with precision, research, and timing. Wealth is not about chasing every opportunity that comes your way. It's about identifying the risk worth taking and managing them intelligently. For someone with 300K, this principle is transformative. When deployed wisely, even this amount can be enough to generate sustainable income, providing financial security and independence. The key is not merely investing, but investing strategically, understanding that every dollar placed in the right hands has the potential to grow steadily over time. Tepper's philosophy proves that discipline, planning, and patience always outperform blind luck or impulsive decisions. Investing 300K doesn't require speculation or gambling on volatile markets. Tepper emphasizes the importance of high-quality assets, which are the foundation of steady wealth accumulation. This might include blue chip stocks, index funds, or other diversified portfolios that are designed to weather market fluctuations while generating consistent returns. By choosing assets that are fundamentally strong and resilient, your capital is protected from unnecessary losses and positioned to grow reliably. This approach mirrors Tepper's own strategies in his career, where calculated investments allowed him to capitalize on opportunities others ignored or feared. It's a mindset that transforms a 300K from a finite sum into a working engine of income and long-term financial growth. Discipline is central to making calculated risk work. Tepper never relies on luck, timing, or hope. He relies on research, analysis, and a repeatable strategy. Each investment decision is measured against risk-reward ratios, market conditions, and long-term sustainability. For an individual with 300K, this discipline is what separates financial security from fleeting wealth. Randomly buying stocks or following trends might offer short-term gains, but without a disciplined strategy, losses are inevitable. Tepper's approach ensures that every move is deliberate, focused, and aligned with the ultimate goal of sustaining financial freedom. Discipline turns potential into results, turning calculated risks into reliable outcomes. Diversification is another crucial component of Tepper's strategy. By spreading investments across multiple sectors, asset classes, or financial instruments, you reduce exposure to any single point of failure. A 300K can be allocated intelligently across index funds, bonds, and income-generating assets to create a balanced portfolio. This not only preserves your capital, but also generates streams of passive income, which can be reinvested to compound further growth. Tepper knows that luck alone cannot protect wealth, but strategic diversification can. The discipline to diversify wisely ensures that your financial engine runs smoothly even when markets are unpredictable. Ultimately, Tepper's method proves that 300K is more than enough to sustain a life of financial independence if you approach it with calculated risk, discipline, and strategic deployment. Luck may create temporary wins, but lasting wealth comes from careful planning, patience, and smart execution. By following Tepper's principles, even modest capital can be transformed into a powerful tool for freedom, security, and opportunity, demonstrating that financial success is less about the size of your initial investment and more about how intelligently you manage it. Never underestimate the power of emergency funds. Tepper understands that wealth is not just about how much you make or how much you invest. It's also about having a safety net that shields you from the unexpected. Life is unpredictable, markets are volatile, and economic downturns can strike without warning. Without cash on hand to navigate these periods, even the most carefully built investment portfolio can become a source of stress rather than security. Tepper's philosophy is simple yet profound. Before you chase growth, ensure you can survive adversity. Emergency funds are not an afterthought. They are a foundational pillar of financial independence, providing both stability and freedom to make intelligent decisions without panic or desperation. Having liquid funds readily available transforms your approach to both life and investing. When a sudden expense arises, whether it's medical bills, home repairs, or a job loss, you're not forced to liquidate investments at a loss or take on high-interest debt. Tepper would never leave himself exposed to these risks because he knows that true opportunity often comes when others are panicked. A well-funded emergency reserve allows you to act decisively when markets tumble, when bargains appear, or when strategic investments emerge. This is where discipline meets opportunity while others are stressed. Tepper's preparedness allows him to seize value that others cannot see. Cash on hand is not just security. It is leverage, flexibility, and power in its purest form. Emergency funds also remove the emotional burden that comes with financial uncertainty. Tepper knows that fear is one of the greatest obstacles to smart investing. When your savings are tied up with no backup, every market fluctuation or financial challenge can feel catastrophic. Stress clouds judgment and can lead to impulsive decisions that destroy wealth rather than build it. By maintaining a robust emergency fund, you free yourself from this mental strain. You no longer react out of fear. Instead, you act with clarity, patience, and strategy. Tepper's approach emphasizes that financial success is as much psychological as it is numerical. Having a safety net creates mental space to think clearly, make rational decisions, and capitalize on opportunities when they appear. The size of an emergency fund will vary depending on your lifestyle and obligations, but the principle remains universal. It must be sufficient to cover at least 6 months to a year of essential expenses. This isn't about hoarding money. It's about creating a foundation of resilience. Tepper views this as an insurance policy against the unpredictable nature of both markets and life. When you have cash readily available, you're not at the mercy of circumstance. You're prepared to weather storms, endure short-term setbacks, and continue growing your wealth steadily. Ultimately, Tepper's insistence on emergency funds teaches a critical lesson. Financial independence is built not just on the potential for growth, but also on the ability to survive downturns. By having liquid cash ready for emergencies, you remove stress, reduce risk, and create the freedom to act strategically. This ensures that when opportunities arise, you can move decisively without hesitation and with the confidence that you have a solid foundation to support every decision. Preparedness, patience, and liquidity, these are the keys that transform 300K or any amount into lasting, resilient wealth. Passive income is the cornerstone of true financial freedom, and Tepper understands this principle better than most. Working for money has inherent limits. Your time, energy, and capacity are finite. No matter how hard you work, there is only so much you can earn in a day, a month, or a year. Tepper's genius lies in recognizing that the real power of wealth comes not from how much you can labor, but from how effectively you can make your money work for you. With a sum like 300K, this principle becomes transformative when deployed wisely into dividend, paying stocks, bonds, real estate, or other income-generating assets. Even a relatively modest amount can produce a consistent, reliable stream of income that supports your lifestyle, grows your capital, and compounds over time. Passive income is more than just a financial tool. It is freedom in action. Tepper knows that relying solely on active income keeps you tethered to circumstances outside your control. Job security employer decisions, economic cycles, and personal capacity. By contrast, income that flows from investments is continuous, predictable, and scalable. Dividend stocks, for example, allow you to earn a portion of a company's profits simply for owning shares. Bonds provide fixed interest payments that come with predictable schedules. Real estate can generate rental income while appreciating in value over time. Each of these streams represents money that grows while you sleep, travels, or pursue other opportunities. Tepper emphasizes that the ability to generate income without exchanging time for money multiplies your financial options, security, and peace of mind. Discipline and strategy are essential when creating passive income streams. Tepper never relies on luck or speculation. Each investment is evaluated for its stability, growth potential, and risk profile. Not every asset that produces income is created equal. Some offer higher returns at the cost of greater risk, while others provide steady, reliable growth. Tepper's approach is to balance these factors, building a diversified portfolio that ensures consistent cash flow while minimizing exposure to catastrophic loss. For someone with $300K, this means allocating capital across multiple assets, understanding the underlying mechanisms of each investment, and reinvesting returns to harness the power of compounding. Compounding is where passive income transforms from helpful to extraordinary. Tepper understands that even modest returns, when reinvested over time, can grow exponentially. A $300K portfolio generating dividends or rental income may initially feel modest, but as the returns are reinvested, the growth accelerates. The income not only sustains your lifestyle, but increasingly builds additional wealth, creating a virtuous cycle that continues to expand your financial independence. This is the difference between short-term earnings and long-term wealth. The magic of money working for you rather than you working for money. Finally, Tepper teaches that passive income is as much about mindset as it is about money. You must commit to delayed gratification. Resist the temptation to consume all earnings immediately and focus on building structures that sustain growth over decades. A $300K, when deployed intelligently, can generate freedom and flexibility that far exceed its nominal value. By prioritizing passive income, you are not just securing financial stability, you are creating the conditions to live life on your own terms, make opportunistic moves, and scale wealth without being limited by time or labor. In Tepper's philosophy, passive income is the bridge between money and freedom, turning strategy into reality and transforming a finite sum into limitless potential. It's incredibly easy to get seduced by status, and Tepper knows this better than most. Society constantly bombards us with messages about what success looks like: the fancy cars, luxury watches, expensive vacations, and the latest gadgets. We are conditioned to believe that wealth is demonstrated through appearances, and it's easy to fall into the trap of spending money to impress others rather than to improve our own lives. Tepper's philosophy is clear: cut out the fluff. True financial freedom is not about what you show the world. It's about what you build for yourself, what gives you independence, and what allows you to control your own life without being beholden to circumstance. The moment you allow external validation to dictate your spending, you erode the very foundation of freedom you're trying to create. Discipline is the key to avoiding these lifestyle traps. Tepper understands that every dollar spent on status is a dollar that cannot be invested, saved, or deployed strategically. When you focus on impressing others, you sacrifice compounding, security, and flexibility for fleeting approval. The world doesn't care about your possessions. The market's opportunities and investments you're building do. By redirecting attention from consumption to creation, you ensure that your resources serve you, not your ego. Financial freedom requires a mindset that values independence over image, substance over style, and strategy over showmanship. Cutting out the fluff is also about clarity and focus. Tepper knows that money is a tool, and the less clutter in your financial life, the more effectively you can use it. When you eliminate unnecessary expenses, whether it's dining out excessively, paying for luxury subscriptions, or upgrading gadgets just to keep up with trends, you free up capital to allocate toward what truly matters: assets, investments, and opportunities that generate income and grow wealth. Every unnecessary expense is a chain that limits your freedom, and every dollar you save and invest strengthens your independence. By focusing on essentials, you create a streamlined path toward long-term financial security. The philosophy extends beyond just saving money. It's a way of living. Tepper emphasizes that wealth is not a statement, it is a foundation. People often confuse wealth with lifestyle. A flashy car or an extravagant lifestyle may signal success to outsiders, but it doesn't equate to real security or freedom. Tepper's approach flips that logic wealth is measured by the options you have, the freedom to act without fear, and the ability to seize opportunities when they arise. By prioritizing investments, skills, and assets over appearances, you maximize the value of every dollar, every decision, and every hour of your life. Focusing less on impressing others and more on building independence also nurtures mental freedom. Status seeking creates pressure, comparison, and stress. Tepper knows that when you liberate yourself from the need to conform to societal expectations, you can think clearly, act decisively, and pursue opportunities others ignore. Money becomes a tool for empowerment, not a source of anxiety. Financial discipline, combined with the intentional avoidance of lifestyle traps, allows even a modest sum like $300K to become a lever that generates security, freedom, and long-term wealth. Ultimately, Tepper's message is simple but powerful. True financial freedom comes from focusing on substance, not status. By cutting out the fluff, resisting societal pressures, and spending with purpose, you turn your resources into independence, opportunity, and lasting power rather than fleeting admiration. The discipline to value what matters over what impresses is what separates the wealthy from the merely well-dressed. Tepper constantly studies markets, opportunities, and strategies, understanding that knowledge is one of the most powerful forms of capital. Money alone can provide security, but without insight, discipline, and timing, even large sums can be wasted or mismanaged. Tepper approaches wealth not as a static collection of numbers, but as a dynamic system where information, analysis, and understanding determine outcomes. For someone with $300K, this mindset transforms what might seem like a modest amount into a lever capable of producing long-term freedom and security. Knowledge compounds faster than money because it allows you to make decisions that multiply the impact of every dollar, avoid costly mistakes, and seize opportunities others overlook. Studying markets means more than just watching stock tickers or reading headlines. Tepper immerses himself in the fundamentals, understanding the health of industries, the patterns of economic cycles, and the psychology of investors. By identifying where value exists, he can allocate capital in ways that maximize returns while minimizing risk. For someone with $300K, this means that strategic investments informed by research can grow exponentially, whereas blind or impulsive decisions may stagnate or even deplete wealth. Tepper's constant learning ensures that his capital is never idle or misallocated. It is always deployed with intention and insight, turning knowledge into measurable financial advantage. Opportunities rarely announce themselves loudly. Tepper's edge comes from recognizing value before it becomes obvious to the majority. This requires studying trends, analyzing data, and maintaining a disciplined approach to risk and reward. Knowledge allows him to distinguish between fleeting hype and genuine opportunity, between speculative risk and calculated investment. For an individual managing $300K, this approach can be the difference between moderate returns in life, changing growth. Insight combined with timing ensures that capital is positioned to capture gains at the moments that matter most, rather than being eroded by market noise or poor judgment. Tepper also understands that strategies are not static. Markets evolve, economies shift, and new investment vehicles emerge. Continuous study allows him to adapt and refine his approach, ensuring that his decisions remain effective in changing conditions. Knowledge compounds because each lesson, each observation, and each adjustment builds on the previous one. Our $300K, when guided by this iterative learning process, becomes far more powerful than the same sum managed without insight. The money works harder, grows faster, and provides greater security because it is aligned with informed decisions rather than guesswork. Additionally, Tepper's dedication to learning fosters confidence and decisiveness. Uncertainty is inevitable in investing, but the more you know, the more capable you become of acting decisively when opportunities arise. Hesitation often leads to missed chances. Knowledge removes doubt and empowers strategic action. For someone with $300K, this confidence translates into smarter investments, timely moves, and a clear path to financial independence. Ultimately, Tepper teaches that knowledge is a force multiplier. Money alone has limits, but when paired with insight, discipline, and timing, it transforms into power. A $300K is not just a sum, it is a tool whose potential expands exponentially through learning. By constantly studying markets opportunities and strategies, Tepper ensures that every decision maximizes value, protects against loss, and compounds wealth efficiently. In his philosophy, intelligence and preparation are as important as capital itself. And for anyone seeking freedom with 300K, continuous learning is the key that unlocks its true potential. Tepper made billions by doing what most people fear, buying when others panicked. In times of market chaos, when headlines scream disaster and fear grips the majority, opportunities are often hidden in plain sight. Most investors react emotionally, selling their assets at a loss, avoiding risk, or freezing entirely. Tepper's philosophy flips this fear on its head. He sees panic not as a reason to retreat, but as a signal that value is available for those bold enough to act. Your 300K, though modest compared to billion-dollar funds, is enough to seize similar opportunities if you adopt the same mindset. By understanding that fear is not the enemy, but a guide, you can position your capital to take advantage of moments that others cannot, turning uncertainty into wealth. The key lies in preparation and confidence. Tepper doesn't dive into markets blindly. He studies industries, evaluates companies, and maintains liquidity so that when fear strikes, he is ready. Panic in the market often creates mispricing, undervalued assets, and temporary imbalances. While most people are reacting emotionally, Tepper's disciplined approach allows him to act rationally. This is why even a 300K portfolio can be leveraged in downturns. When others are selling, you can be buying, capturing value at a fraction of what it would normally cost. Timing and preparation transform fear from a paralyzing force into a powerful advantage. Fear also acts as a filter. It reveals who is emotionally reactive and who is strategically prepared. Tepper understands that the average investor sells at the bottom because fear clouds judgment. By controlling your emotions, maintaining a clear strategy, and keeping capital ready, you can do the opposite: buy low, hold steady, and profit when markets recover. 300K may seem like a small sum to take big risks, but calculated moves during moments of panic can multiply your wealth far faster than steady, incremental gains during normal market conditions. Fear, when harnessed, creates opportunity for those disciplined enough to act. This approach extends beyond the stock market. Tepper also applies it to real estate, businesses, and other investment arenas. Economic downturns, distressed assets, and failing companies often scare the masses, but they present the shrewd investor with openings to acquire value at discounted prices. Even a moderate amount of capital, like 300K, can be used strategically to gain stakes in opportunities that are overlooked because fear prevents others from acting. Tepper's brilliance lies in recognizing that the greatest gains often come not from following the crowd, but from acting decisively when the crowd is paralyzed. Ultimately, Tepper teaches that fear is a friend, not a foe, when it is understood and respected. Panic signals opportunity. It highlights mispriced assets and temporary imbalances that can be exploited by prepared, disciplined investors. Or 300K is enough to take advantage of these moments, provided you combine research, courage, and strategy. By embracing fear, staying calm under pressure, and acting when others hesitate, you turn what scares most people into a pathway to wealth. In Tepper's philosophy, financial freedom is not about avoiding risk. It's about understanding it, using it, and moving decisively when opportunity arises in the chaos of fear. Start with small wins. Tepper's growth wasn't the result of sudden windfalls or lucky breaks. It was the product of patient, deliberate, and strategic steps taken consistently over time. He didn't start by aiming for billions or attempting to make one massive, risky move. Instead, he focused on achievable, measurable goals that built confidence, experience, and momentum. This approach is crucial for anyone looking to turn 300K into lasting financial independence. The key is to understand that wealth isn't created overnight. It's compounded gradually through disciplined actions, smart decisions, and repeated small victories that accumulate into something far greater than the sum of its parts. Small wins create a psychological foundation for growth. Every time you make a sound investment, save a portion of your income, or successfully avoid a financial mistake, you reinforce your ability to manage and grow capital. Tepper knows that confidence in handling money grows alongside your experience, not just your bank balance. By focusing on incremental progress, you reduce the stress and pressure that often come with larger, riskier moves. Each small victory validates your strategy, strengthens your decision-making skills, and builds the discipline necessary to handle increasingly larger sums and more complex opportunities in the future. For someone managing 300K, this approach transforms what might seem like a limited amount into a launching pad for compounding success. Strategic planning is another vital aspect of starting with small wins. Tepper doesn't act randomly. Every decision is informed by research analysis and a long-term perspective. Even modest investments are chosen with care, ensuring that risk is controlled while potential growth is maximized. Small wins are not meaningless. They are building blocks. A well-placed investment that earns modest returns today can generate larger opportunities tomorrow, especially when reinvested wisely. The discipline to plan, execute, and evaluate each move carefully allows a 300K to grow steadily, while also preparing you for larger strategic decisions as your capital base expands. Compounding is where small wins become transformative. Tepper understands that wealth grows not just through individual successes, but through the cumulative effect of consistent, well-managed actions. Each win, no matter how minor it seems at the time, contributes to a larger momentum that accelerates over years. When you treat your 300K as a seed, every small win is like a drop of water nurturing its growth. Reinvesting profits, learning from mistakes, and staying disciplined allows the capital to expand exponentially over time. What starts as a modest portfolio can evolve into a self-sustaining engine of financial independence, all because you embraced the principle of incremental progress. Finally, starting with small wins builds resilience. Tepper's strategy teaches that setbacks are inevitable, but small, consistent victories create a buffer confidence, knowledge, and experience. When challenges arise, you're prepared to respond intelligently rather than panic. This mindset ensures that your 300K isn't just surviving, it's actively growing, laying the groundwork for lasting freedom and the ability to seize bigger opportunities. In Tepper's philosophy, patience, discipline, and incremental success are far more powerful than trying to achieve everything at once. Start small, stay strategic, and let compounding turn your seed into lasting financial independence. Finally, Tepper teaches that freedom is mental. True financial independence is not simply about having a certain amount of money in the bank. It's about how you think, how you perceive opportunities, and how you respond to challenges. 300K can provide a solid foundation for a life of choice and flexibility, but its real power only manifests when paired with the right mindset. Tepper knows that wealth is a tool, and like any tool, its effectiveness depends on how it is used. Without mental clarity, discipline, and vision, even a substantial sum can be wasted, leaving you feeling constrained rather than empowered. Financial freedom starts in the mind, and the ability to think strategically and act decisively is what transforms money into genuine liberty. Controlling your mindset begins with overcoming fear. Most people see a 300K and immediately feel pressure, fear of loss, fear of making the wrong investment, fear that it won't be enough. Tepper's philosophy turns this fear into a guide rather than a barrier. He teaches that fear signals where opportunities may exist. When markets decline, when property values drop, or when others are panicking, fear is heightened. But those moments often hide tremendous potential for those willing to act rationally. By mastering your mindset, you can approach these situations with calm and confidence rather than hesitation or anxiety. 300K becomes a powerful tool when used with courage and discernment, allowing you to make strategic moves that others avoid because they are driven by emotion rather than reason. Focus is another essential element of Tepper's mental framework. Freedom is not just about having options, it's about knowing which options to pursue and which to ignore. 300K can fund countless opportunities, but without a clear sense of priorities and goals, it can easily be mismanaged. Tepper emphasizes that disciplined focus on high-value investments, learning, and long-term strategy amplifies the impact of every dollar. Mental clarity ensures that your actions align with your objectives, allowing you to leverage your resources effectively while avoiding distractions or impulsive decisions. The mind shapes the results, thoughtful decisions compound, while scattered thinking dissipates potential. Living life on your own terms is the ultimate expression of Tepper's philosophy. Financial freedom is not just about numbers, it's about choice. 300K can free you from the constraints of necessity, enabling you to work because you want to invest because it aligns with your strategy and spend because it adds value to your life, not to impress others. The real power comes when money becomes a means to live intentionally rather than a source of stress or obligation. By controlling your mindset, you remove the mental chains that tie most people to jobs, societal expectations, and fear-driven decisions. Ultimately, Tepper teaches that money alone does not create freedom, mindset does. 300K provides the foundation, but your ability to think strategically, act decisively, and maintain focus transforms that foundation into lasting independence. Avoid fear, seize opportunities, and align your actions with your vision for life. This is the essence of power, the type that lasts far beyond any market cycle, paycheck, or portfolio. Mental mastery turns financial resources into genuine freedom, proving that the mind is the ultimate lever for wealth and life on your own terms. 300,000 may be enough to never work again, but only if you respect it, invest it wisely, and think like Tepper. Start small, stay disciplined, and watch compounding turn your money into freedom. Remember, wealth is a mindset first and a number second. Hit like if you're ready to take control of your 300K, subscribe for more strategies inspired by billionaires, and share this with someone who needs a wake-up call about what's truly possible.